I was never that suit type. I was always very individual. My dad was individual, and I felt like it's great to be able to express yourself through colour and proportion and fabric and everything. The only time I do that is for when I'm DJing, and then that's when I dress up and I get to play a bit. A couple of years ago, just marketing myself as a DJ, and people would be like, what do you do? I'm like, I'm a DJ, and then just getting gigs right off the bat. I go to a lot of record stores. I love Amiibo. That's one thing about LA is they have Amiibo. Thank God, Amiibo's amazing. The musical response was like immediate. People loved what I was playing, and that's when I knew. I was like, okay, I should have been doing this all along. What the fuck? My mum is British, my dad's American. My dad was a biker and my mum was a model. Fell in love, had me as the bastard child. When I was very young, they split up. I'm not exactly the type that comes from Yorkshire. I'm too much like my father. I'm mixed race. You know, I'm living with an all-white family. My mum was really great because the thing about her is she was so obsessed with fashion. She was very creative with the fashion sense. Like she was a good sewer. Go to a fabric shop and she'd be like, you know, use your imagination. Like, what do you want? And I'd be like, oh, okay, I want, you know, an electric blue satin rhinestone cowboy shirt with white yoke and rhinestones on the back that spell my name. You know, just really like random stuff. She would just be like, okay, this is you. This is how you're going to express yourself. My dad was the one with the style. I felt like I was more like him. My dad looks like Marvin Gaye in the face, body, Mr. T, definitely. He's Vietnam vet, so with a Marine, I think they have like slight post-traumatic stress disorder. He couldn't be around anyone very long. I think he always just had to hit the road and be on his motorcycle. Most people just believe it's a wig. They instantly don't think that this could grow out of any human's head. And that, you know, and I think they're so caught up with the whole weave culture that they automatically assume that no one would take the time to grow it out. This hair was the same as when I was 3 and all of that. But when I was older and in school, that's when I started putting it back because I was going to school with mainly white people, and you know, this hair is just not done, you know, so there was that big emphasis, you know, on my mother who couldn't tame this hair so straighten it, and so, you know, I went down that path. Like, I usually tend to stick to like the same colorways, always, like I know what colors look good on me and I stick to those. There's like times where I go on frenzies where I'll shop for like a month straight, almost every day, like, but it's not like major spending, but it's hunting all these little spots off the beaten path and things that shops that don't look like anything, but then they have dead stock vintage swimsuits and things, and then that's when I get really excited. This outfit is very galactic, I would say. Super disco. I love satin and I love deep V's, camisoles, all of that. Most of these I collect like all like Christian Dior and lingerie, like teddies and things to wear, and then I just wear them with, you know, normal high-waisted pants. And then these pants I love because they've got pockets. I like any pants with pocket. High-waisted skirt. It's not always the most flattering on physically, but I don't care because I just love the idea of it. So, you know, when you're walking, sometimes the wind will be blowing, and so you'll get a bit of thigh action going on, you know, as you're walking, because it's got lots of movement in it, you know. So that's one thing I like about this dress too. Like, I've always had an eye for fashion. I get burnt out of it really quickly, and I don't have the patience. That stressful life, I mean, even like working backstage during Fashion Week, I mean, it's not the end of the world. There's so much more going on. You just get screamed at by some crazy bitch. It's just, it's not on. I've lived in Uganda for a little while, Maui, New York, Mexico City, Berlin, Paris. I mean, I just keep going. I lived in Toronto for a moment. That was horrible. I went to Africa when I was really burnt out of New York. I went to Uganda with no preconceived notion of really what I was getting into. I knew I was going to go live in a refugee camp. I had a friend there that was working for an NGO and he had invited me. You go to this refugee camp and 50% of the people are children. and they're orphans and they're taking care of their other siblings. When you live there, you can't wear anything above your knees, otherwise, you know, it's too sexual. So I always had to wear floor-length clothing. So I would go around to the different markets, pick out fabric, and then have the women make beautiful dresses. I learned to live without anxiety. I learned to live without checking my Facebook every 2 minutes. You get used to, you know, living really basically and with nothing, and you know, after that long of living out of a suitcase, you don't want anything that you had before because you don't need it. I couldn't go into a store because I felt guilty, and that how come we had so much and the little shops, you know, in Uganda had nothing. And when I came back, I gave my cat to my best friends that I had in New York, and then I gave away all my stuff.
You did? Your
I
clothes,
gave away everything. Yeah, I gave away everything except a suitcase of stuff that I wanted to keep.
It's complete education. It's kind of like you're putting yourself in other people's shoes. I don't trust the media. I don't trust what I see in newspapers about different countries, and everything's biased, and they all have their own agenda.
It's all about consumerism here. LA is like a clusterfuck. It's all about your appearance and your boob job and, you know, your cheesy Christian Louboutin heels with your mini skirts, and you know, it's just it's all bad.
I don't think you'll ever get over being like a mixed race kid these days. I mean, because wherever you move, you're always going to get a different impression of who you are. Like, people are always going to see you as different. You know, like in America, they see you as black. In Africa, they see you as white. You know, there's no... So you're always looking for people to identify yourself with. They think I look like every single girl that's light-skinned black. No, you know, you hear it all and it's garbage. I look nothing like them. I don't look like Macy Gray. I don't look like Scary Spice or Holly Berry or Alicia Keys. I don't look like any of them. Like, I don't. It's just like physically there's no.
Prince Purple Rain album, the Flashdance soundtrack. Yeah, definitely. Donna Summer, Stevie Wonder. I loved Hotter Than July album. Were the albums that I was raised on, and my mum said that when she was pregnant with me, she used to put the headphones on her belly, so I came out of the womb immediately, like, into disco.
I want to have like a nice chill life by the sea, playing music I love, and still being involved as creative. I think you should be as creative as possible, and so every day if I can create something or make something that will last, I think, yeah, I have to focus on that.
Yeah.
Like, finally, my old boss used to always tell me, like, Angel, you're too distracted. You've got so many things on your plate. You've got to pick one and just do it really well.
Yeah.
And I think she's right. And so I really want to work on the music and start putting out vinyl, getting it out there. Because I want to travel. I want to make music, and that's my ticket. That's my ticket.